Dudes to Dads, brought to you by Dad University, is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we are back.
We are back.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I'm Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads again.
Again.
Every time. It hasn't changed. We haven't changed the name. We've kept it the same.
Yeah, relatively speaking.
Yeah. No, I mean,
it's funny, the earlier episodes we did
change.
segments. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was just too hard to keep up with all that.
It's a lot of effort.
Yeah, I think I like this format a lot better. It was way too much editing back then.
It is a lot of editing, and we were trying to like make things work together, different themes and stuff. But basically,
it was cool. But
no, it was cool, and it was easy to record it too,
right?
Because you can change things into segments. For those of them who have not heard, go back and listen to those episodes.
The first 50 episodes probably were done that way.
We are at episode 137.
Yeah.
We focus a lot on the parent-child relationship, hence it's Dudes to Dads.
Sure.
But I think once in a while, it's important to focus on the relationship with our spouse.
Yeah.
Or significant other, however you want to designate that person.
Yeah.
For those who are not married, whatever.
The other team member on your task force of raising kids.
And so this one is relationship advice for dads. Mm-hmm. And we've got some tips. Now, we have done some tips in the past, but now that I've updated these, I think we did some New Year's resolutions.
You tried them out and they didn't work.
Yeah, most of them worked. But here's the one thing with guys. We need to be constantly reminded. So even if something we did last week, we still need to be reminded this week.
I totally agree with that, yeah.
So we could literally do the same podcast every week and guys still wouldn't
forget all about it.
I said that about as an example, is the parenting classes.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I went through the parenting classes, they're like, okay, it's 4 weeks, boom, you're done. And it was like, no, I'm not. As a guy,
that's just the intro.
I need this every week.
Yeah.
I need the reminders. I need, hey, and that's another idea I have, which I can't. It's an amazing idea.
Sure.
There's no possible way for me to execute it before 2020. It's just put it on my list of things I want to do. But it's basically reminders.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. I just, guys need to be reminded of stuff, whether it is their wife reminding them, whether it's the reminder about the kids. We just forget. We just only have so much capacity and just stuff overflows.
Yeah.
So at least that's how it is with me.
Yeah.
And I'm not forgetful.
Right.
There's just too much. There's too much in my head.
There's a lot going on.
I need stuff out of there.
Yeah, seriously.
Maybe it's just my problem.
No, I think it's for a lot of people. Mine too. And I don't have kids yet. So.
Yeah. So we're going to help the men out here, the dads, and give them a little bit of advice. So the first one is listen to her instead of trying to solve her problems.
Yes.
And
I know we've covered something similar to this before.
Yes, we have a tendency to try to solve problems when somebody is giving us advice, and this could happen to our friends too, but especially with women, where they say, oh, I was at this, blah, 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 and my friend, blah, blah, and we immediately go into advice mode. Yep. Just stop.
Right.
And actually save yourself. You don't have to solve the problem.
Yeah.
All she's wanting to do is just talk to you.
Yeah.
Just tell you. I mean, she just wants to get it out.
Yeah.
So just listen and don't say anything.
I'm kind of the same way. I rarely ever need direct advice. I mean, sometimes people can, coach and give you some support about a problem that you're having. But if I'm just going, blah, blah, this happened at work, I'm really dead, blah, blah, blah. The person, if someone goes, maybe you should handle this way.
I catch myself. I have to. I have to catch myself and tell. I mean, because it's just a natural reaction.
To try to.
Even my kids or my wife, whatever. Yeah, they're telling me a problem. I think immediately that I'm supposed to solve this problem.
Right.
It's my go-to emotion.
Yeah. And it's more of an emotional purge for them rather than it's something they need help on.
Yeah. So I have to actually then tell myself, be like, okay, Jason, shut up. You're just listening. You're not you don't have to solve this one.
Yeah. Just go there.
Yeah. Self-talk. So it works. So that one's really important. The second one, know her love language and do more of it. So for those that are not familiar with love languages, there are 5 love languages. And this is a book and courses and everything. And it's really, really valuable to know this. So there's words of affirmation, which means she likes to hear you say stuff.
Yeah, positive.
Yeah. Acts of service, meaning do stuff for her.
Yep.
Receiving gifts.
Sure.
Receiving gifts. Quality time. which means put your phone down, or physical touch, affection.
What's your love language?
So I have
What do you react best to?
Physical touch and quality time. They're kind of equal.
Yeah.
And so we also give love in different ways than we like to receive love.
It, yeah, in some cases.
Yeah. So it's very important and very interesting to know the love language. So my wife, as an example, loves acts of service. Like if I clean something without her even knowing about it, or like that's really great. Like she appreciates that. Versus like a gift, like she'd be like, all right, but it's not like she's not a gift person, you know? So you just have to know like what it is that, and this is also with like family members and stuff too. I mean, everybody. So what happens is you realize what is really valuable to them, and what can happen, especially let's say even you're dating. Yeah. It's like you're buying this woman like all these gifts, and like it doesn't matter.
Really,
Like she'd rather you like wash her car for her, you know? Like it just, it doesn't mean anything to get these gifts.
Some people don't need a lot of material items. They prefer, like you said, time.
Yeah, or they want to hear you saying something, or you know, whatever. So that is really important to know the love language and then do more of it. So I was going to be specific or say like, hey, tell her blah blah blah, but really just understand what her love language is and do it more often.
Makes sense.
Totally do it. Number 3, which this is one of them, is say I love you more. So, you know, example, send her a text during the day. Write her a note on an actual piece of paper. Some people who are younger might not be familiar with paper and a pen, but it's
non-digital form of communication.
Correct. Well, we've got some millennials that might not, you know. What is that, Dad? That's paper.
Well, pulp from a tree actually forms paper.
Actually, if they're maybe in school, they still use paper. Yeah, sure. Although they use the iPads like constantly. So send her text, write her a note. Now, the key to this, do not make it sexual. Just make it vanilla. Like, it doesn't need, I love you and blah, 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 blah.
I want to do X, Y, and Z to you.
just leave it vanilla. Okay?
Yeah.
You can do that at a different time. But like when you're really trying to just say I love you, or I'm thinking of you, or whatever, just leave it simple. Don't try to make it.
I think that's a lot cooler in a lot of ways, because the whole, I don't know, I feel like the whole sexual overtone thing is kind of overplayed, unless it's like something funny or.
Well, keep in mind, we're talking about moms. And in many cases, newer moms or people with toddlers. So now we can get into that, but sex is going to be much less on their mind.
Sure.
The fact that you're saying like just I love you is way more meaningful. Yeah. You don't have a motive. You're not trying to get anything. You're just saying it. And so that is going to come in a little. Now, if you're talking about a single 25-year-old girl, different. Totally different situation.
Right.
You know, which actually it's probably similar too, but I don't know that age group. So, anyways. So number 4, remember your anniversary and her birthday. So remember important dates.
So try to date her on her birthday so you don't have to forget.
Yeah, totally. You can do it all at once. And on the holidays.
And on the holiday. Just do it all.
Find a girl. So plan something or get her a gift, depend on her love language, but like make effort for that kind of stuff. Now,
I had a friend that has the same birthday as me, a girl. Nice. And I was thinking, I probably should have dated her.
That would be weird.
It'd be really weird, but it'd be kind of funny. Never forget her birthday.
That's true. Or if you did, it'd be really bad.
Oh, yeah. What was your birthday again? Same as yours, fool.
Yeah. But you want to, make some effort.
Yeah.
Make some effort in that area, getting her something, getting her a gift, planning something's even better. You get some more points that way, unless her love language is receiving gifts.
Right.
Number 5, this is an important one. I must take heed. Don't complain. Nobody likes to hear complaining. And even if it's not about her, refrain from verbalizing it. Ooh. It's just not.
Just like if you had a bad day at work, for example. Are you saying it in general?
Well, I think that there are ways to discuss negativity. Mm-hmm. And that would even benefit yourself by, like, let's say you have to, quote, get it out. You have to talk about it.
Right.
That you could probably discuss it without complaining. like, yeah, it was really rough. There's nothing wrong with saying like, yeah, we had this big meeting and it was difficult and I really struggled through that, whatever, versus it's like, things always suck. I never can make it that kind of complaint stuff, or you're blaming other people or those kinds of things. So I think there's a little bit difference between like sharing how your day was that might have been negative,
right,
or a situation that might be negative versus a complaint.
That's a good way of phrasing it. It's like sharing your day despite whether it's positive or negative versus just complaining for the sake of complaining. It's a whole different thing.
Well, normally when we complain is we want someone to make us feel better, or we think that the complaint is going to make us feel better.
Right.
And people think that it does, and the truth is that it doesn't. It just like negativity begets negativity. Like it just compiles.
Yeah.
And it really is something, and I notice this too, is because I have a tendency, in all honesty, is I will complain. I don't complain per se about the person to the person, or even about, it's not really people, but I might complain about a situation. And the truth is that person can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So if I'm like, something happened at work and I'm come home to my wife and I'm start complaining about it, she can't do anything. Like she can't fix it.
Right.
Like, what do you want me to do with the customer? Like, how do I deal with, like, if it was a customer issue or something, versus like me kind of saying, yeah, it was just difficult. I had this situation and blah, blah. Like I could probably handle it better. And in turn, I think it'll make me handle it better.
Yeah. I always wonder, maybe because I feel the same way you do, but I'm wondering when people do complain, are they looking for the unsolicited advice on some level? I don't know. It's just it goes back to the.
I know I don't need advice.
I personally don't either, and I'm the same way. And I rarely ever like complain about things that are at my job or whatever. But I do know some people that will come back and be like talking about what's going on in their day.
And this, like, it's funny, verbalizing this sounds really strange, but I think you want the other person to like waddle in your misery as well. Like,
come join me down here.
Like, hey, like, why? Like, you're too happy. I'm miserable. I need more people being. I'm just saying, like, subconscious. If I like kind of think about it, like, I'm thinking, like, why would I complain? Like, I'm trying to in real time think about that.
But it's cathartic to be able to talk to somebody about anything, whether it's good or bad. And I think that's the difference. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier. It's like, if you're just talking about your day and you're trying to almost trying to openly figure it out in your head by verbalizing it in some weird way, then that person goes, okay, they're there, or vice versa. But
it's never good. Like, if it's not enjoyable or to be around negativity. Like, so when, even if, your spouse or girlfriend, whatever, comes home to you, or you see a friend for the first time, I think you had mentioned, like, you have a friend that every time you see them, all they do is complain.
Right.
like that's it.
Yeah,
like they complain about their life, their job, their whatever. It's like, you don't want to hang out with that person
Is there
anymore.
anything going on good at all?
Right. Maybe you should just be quiet unless you have nothing nice to say.
Right.
Like, but that's the truth, is that you don't want to be around that. And I think, and I'm trying and learning to understand that too. And especially if my kids are seeing me complain or hearing me complain, they are going to pick up on that and begin to complain too. And it's like, it's like the idea of like, we're driving and all of a sudden there's traffic.
Right.
That's an example. Well, so guess what? We were driving the other day and all of a sudden my kids are like, oh, traffic.
Yeah.
Like they don't care.
I know.
They just know that I hate traffic.
So therefore it's bad.
Therefore they hate traffic.
Side with dad.
Totally. So I think it's things like that where I could say, hey, this is an opportunity for us to hang out together. Granted, that's like a utopian way of thinking about it.
Right.
But like,
very, very hard to keep up those facades.
I know.
But I get it. And I'm kind of the same way. If I'm around kids, I try not to be too negative about any things that are around, because then they pick up on it. And I know for example, my sister, when she was little, she's 16 years younger than me. And like we were watching some movie and somebody yelled out an expletive. And then my mother didn't really freak out. I freaked out. I'm like, I'm turning this off immediately. Right. It was just too negative for her now, at her little impressionable age at that time.
Yeah, you don't want that negativity around the kids. Yeah. So, if you guys have any tips or thoughts on advice, what should they do, Alan?
podcast@dudesdads.com. That's an email that you want to utilize.
Can reach us there?
Yeah. And you can't send it by paper.
What about our social media channels if they want some feedback? They want to give us some feedback.
Twitter @dudesdads they could use. And also dudesdads.com, Facebook.
Awesome.
And YouTube.
They can go on YouTube and listen to
channels, plural. Dudes to Dads and Dads University. Besides the podcast, Jason has a great set of videos with tips and awesome treats for you on the video format.
That's a good word.
Yeah, they're very digital
As we get closer to Halloween. That's cool.
iTunes, Stitcher.
Oh, you're right.
I'll those calls to action as well.
Very cool.
So keep going.
So number 6, give her compliments.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like the I love you. The compliments can be physical. I mean, some women respond well to physical compliments, but men often compliment when they want something. We typically compliment like because we're thinking something else. I think that happens a lot. So if you can compliment her on something non-physical or non-sexual and expect nothing in return.
Right.
So, hey, I really appreciated, XYZ today. I don't know. Whatever.
I like how you thought that one out.
Yeah. I didn't have
I
an
appreciate
example.
something about it. Yeah, I don't know. Something.
Well, I was saying not all women do it, but she made dinner, or something, and saying, hey, I really appreciate the fact that, you made dinner tonight.
Yeah,
that was really cool. But that's it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Or if you've already gotten whatever it is you wanted from that person and then you still compliment them on something regardless anyway. So I think that's a good thing. I make it a good habit. I think it's a good habit to do in general.
People love compliments.
It's just something nice about them. Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
It's good. Number 7, plan a weekend getaway without kids.
Yeah.
So this one's an important one. Go away for the weekend. If you can't afford to go anywhere, have your kids go away.
Ship them away.
Yeah. No, I mean, have them go to a friend's or a relative's house. Now, if you don't have a relative nearby, I'm hoping that you at least have a friend or a family that has kids as well, and do a trade. Mm-hmm. You can do that where you suggest that, hey, listen, I'd love to and even maybe do that first for them and say, I'd love to have your kids over for the weekend. Yeah. And in return, we'd love to be able to do that as well, for you. And exchange of family would probably love to do that. Yeah. Another couple that's somewhat similar, maybe they have similar kids or a kid or whatever. There's not really a way to have excuses for that because it doesn't always require money, but it's the idea that for you guys can be alone for an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. And especially when you have young children, that is really rare. Yeah. Yes, you can sneak out for date night. You can have some, go to dinner and a movie or go to dinner and go do some activity. But having an extended period of time where you're away from the kids is really needed and really nice.
It's healthy. Yeah, for sure.
You don't realize it. And then when you're away, it's like, what kids?
Let's go away for a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you can go away for longer, then that's great. Or if you have family that'll take the kids longer, that's great. Right. But it is hard when you have younger children to just kind of dump your kids at somebody's house for a week. Right. Then maybe you got to switch it off and make 2 to 3 days here, 2 to 3 days at another place. Yeah. Unless you have somebody that's really close and really
like an aunt or an uncle or
a grandparent that's able to stay with you or stay at your house for a week. But it's hard. It is hard to do. So that's why just a weekend getaway would be good. Sure. Number 8. If something is bothering you in the relationship, look at what you could do different in order to get a different response. Mm-hmm. So oftentimes we look at our spouse and we say, oh, I can't believe they blah, 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 or the way that they do blah, or whatever. Maybe it's not her. I know this is not you or your or my problem. Never. But sometimes we actually have to look at our own behavior and see what might be causing it. Yeah. Could we respond to them a little different? Right. Could we approach the situation a little different? Mm-hmm. Could we use a different voice? A different tone? Yeah. Could we preface it with getting a ton of gifts? No, I'm just saying, you do want to look at how are you approaching the situation and how you're asking or how you're talking or, what could be done differently and how you approach it. And you'll be surprised that oftentimes, guess what? it's not just her fault.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is.
Or some combination, but
yeah.
but definitely
someone can be acting in a way that's just not appropriate or whatever.
Right. But definitely check yourself.
Correct. Before
you clearly wreck yourself.
Wreck yourself. Right. That is good. Number 9, an important one. We've had a full podcast dedicated to it. Do not be critical. Mm-hmm. So instead of saying what you don't like, say what you do like.
Yep.
We've got tons of examples of that.
Yeah.
Just don't be critical of anyone, especially your spouse.
Right.
And your kids. You can be critical of other people. Don't be critical of your spouse. And
the outside world, who cares?
Yeah. Your boss, your employees, your, I don't know, friends. Yeah. I'm kidding. Don't be critical. It's not a very nice thing.
No.
Number 10, offer help unsolicited. So don't offer or don't ask if she needs help. Instead, make a statement for help. So for example, like I'll go pick up the kids tonight. Why don't you take a few minutes to relax? You know, if picking up the kids is normally heard.
Yeah, yeah.
Or going to the store or vice versa, whatever.
Right.
You know, hey, let me get this, you know, let me do this dinner. Let me do this laundry.
Yeah.
Let me do whatever. Some task or some chore that is maybe falls under her domain. You know, you just do it and actually, and then of course now the response from her will probably be like, what do you want? Say nothing.
Nothing. Just want to help.
Just thought it would be
all
nice
I want is to help.
Right. Now, a couple days from now, I might want something, but right now, no.
I'm saving these up as coupons.
Yeah. I'm building these up one at a time. And number 11, and finally, reduce or eliminate expectations. Now, this one is a doozy, and it's a hard one, but we all have expectations. So you have to ask the question, are you placing too high of expectations on your spouse? If you are, stop. But if you might not even know that you are.
Right.
And see how that affects how you respond to each other. Mm-hmm. So when you place less expectations on someone, it often gives them the ability to flourish.
Yeah.
And do what needs to be done.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But a lot of people don't work well under expectations. Some people do.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I'll say straight out as far as when people have those kind of, I'm supposed to be a certain thing at certain times.
You shit on them.
Yeah, you're right. They shit on it. I'm not a big fan of that, and I try not to do that to people.
Shit on everybody.
Right. I don't want to shit all over the place. No, it's one of those things that I'm really mindful of not having a certain expectation of someone to be a certain thing at certain times. People are diverse in what they do, and they don't have to cater to my every whim at every whatever thing I'm expecting them to be.
I disagree. I like everyone catering to me at all times. No, that is a hard one. It's like because we have expectations of ourselves.
Yeah.
We have expectations of our children.
Right.
You know, we have expectations all the time, and sometimes they can be unrealistic, and we've got to check that to say, you know, hey, is this fair that I have this expectation of my spouse that she was supposed to do this, or that I said this, and why did she not do X, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You got to sometimes put that in check and realize, like, is that really important?
Yeah.
You know, overall, the thing I can say is, you know, lately we've had so many things negative going on in the world.
Yeah.
You know, it really does. I mean, it's cliche, but it puts things in perspective about gratitude and having, you know, there's people being killed, there's countries being attacked, there's just all kinds of negative stuff going on. And it really
crazy weather.
I mean, just hurricanes and floods
are going
and
on. Yeah, geez.
It's like, just realize how grateful how lucky we are, and be grateful for that. It's just, it is crazy.
Enjoy those moments for sure.
You know, I was talking with somebody else in the meetup, and they're saying, like, you know, is it really fair that these events have to happen in order for us to feel grateful?
Right.
But I recall when really negative things happened in my life, I tried to look at it and be like, okay, what is the positivity? Like my mom passing. It's like, okay, well, what spawned from that? Well, I, for a long time, couldn't understand why, you know, what is the good in this? But then saying, you know what, that's what spawned me doing what I'm doing now. Yeah. You know, the idea of like, wow, like I feel like the need to reach other people.
It was the catalyst for the meetup and this podcast.
Yeah. And the fulfillment that necessarily, and maybe it's like not till years later that you realize what death
Yes.
or tragedy or whatever.
Hindsight 2020.
But the same thing here. It's like it's the opportunity for us to help people, to come together, to lend a hand to your neighbor and family. And it's just, I'm not trying to get on a pedestal or anything, but it's just, there's the reason why, as an example of why we do this.
Yeah.
It's like, it actually feels really good to help other people.
For sure.
And, the idea that there's so much negativity in this world. So I don't know. I just wanted to end with that because we just, we hear it on the news constantly, just what's going on and everything. And so, I don't know. Just want to end on a positive note.
No, I agree. That's
versus
great.
A negative. So
for sure.
If people have input, have some suggestions, and other than the email of podcast@dudestodads.com, Alan, what kind of things shall they do?
They shall go to social media, Twitter.
Are you shooting on them again?
I'm shooting. You should go to Twitter. No, you will go to Twitter and @DudesToDads. And go to Facebook, DudesToDads.com. Also, again, to reiterate these, the YouTube channels, plural. I like that.
Dudes to Dads.
Dudes to Dads and Dad University, which is both really great information on there. And then please go to iTunes and or Stitcher and leave some reviews. Subscribe to those channels. It really helps perpetuate the show and the rankings and makes us keep doing this every day rather than just talking to each other randomly on mics. we want to know you're listening.
We like doing that too. Even when we cut this off, we just keep talking.
Right.
We try to get episodes and just keep talking. And
right.
we record
everything.
I like just to hear myself talk. Nobody else does. But see, that's why I do it here, so I don't have to do it at home.
It's
then
all
I can just
private.
be quiet at home.
But I do record it, and in case something really bad comes up, blackmail.
Ooh,
there we go.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. So with that, Alan, thank you as always.
Thank you.
I always enjoy this,
Absolutely.
and we will see you next time.
See you next time.